The Haunted Old House. In this spine-chilling story, we'll explore the mysteries that surround a forgotten mansion, where the past refuses to stay buried and the spirits that once called it home still linger. Turn off the lights, sit back, and prepare yourself for a journey into the unknown. This story begins in a small, forgotten town where an abandoned mansion sits on the edge of a dense forest. The locals speak of it in hushed tones, warning travelers and curious souls to stay away. But for years, the house has been a beacon for thrill seekers, paranormal investigators, and those who don't believe in the supernatural until they experience it for themselves. This story begins in a small, forgotten town where an abandoned mansion sits on the edge of a dense forest. The locals speak of it in hushed tones, warning travelers and curious souls to stay away. But for years, the house has been a beacon for thrill seekers, paranormal investigators, and those who don't believe in the supernatural until they experience it for themselves. One evening, a group of friends, drawn by the stories of the haunted house, decided to see if the legends were true. Armed with nothing but flashlights and their skepticism, they approached the old mansion, unaware of the terror that awaited them inside. As they stepped inside, the temperature dropped suddenly, and an overwhelming sense of dread washed over them. The house was eerily silent, except for the faint sound of footsteps that seemed to follow them as they explored each room. It didn't take long for strange things to start happening. Doors slammed shut on their own, cold breezes swept through rooms with no windows, and objects moved by themselves. One by one, the friends began to feel as though they were being watched, as if unseen eyes were tracking their every move. And the sightings began. One of them caught a glimpse of a figure in the reflection of a broken mirror panel, with hollow eyes staring back at them. But when they turned around, no one was there. Panicked, the group decided it was time to leave. But when they reached the front door, it wouldn't budge. No matter how hard they pulled or pushed, the door remained firmly shut, trapping them inside. That's when the real terror began. The house came alive with paranormal activity. Lights flickered, objects flew across the room, and ghostly apparitions began to materialize in the shadows. The friends huddled together, desperately trying to find a way out, but the house seemed to have a mind of its own, determined to keep them within its walls. Just when all hope seemed lost, one of them stumbled upon a hidden door leading to the basement. It was a long shot, but they had no other choice. They descended into the darkness, hoping to find a way out through the cellar.
But the basement was even more sinister than the rooms above. The air was thick with the smell of decay, and the walls were covered in strange, unreadable symbols. The whispers grew louder and footsteps echoed around them, though they could see no one. The fear was palpable, but they pressed on, desperate to escape the house's grasp. The basement led them to a dead end, a large, ancient door covered in heavy chains. As they approached it, the whispers stopped, replaced by a deep, guttural growl that seemed to come from the very walls of the house. The door burst open, revealing a swirling darkness within, filled with the faces of the lost souls who had been trapped in the house for centuries. The friends realized that they were on the brink of being consumed by the darkness themselves, but in a final act of desperation, they broke free from the basement and ran towards the light. As dawn broke, the group stumbled out of the house, exhausted and terrified, but alive. They never spoke of what they had seen inside those walls, but they all knew they had come dangerously close to becoming permanent residents of the haunted mansion. The house still stands, as silent and foreboding as ever. But if you ever find yourself near it, be warned. Some doors should never be opened, and some secrets are best left buried.